It's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald. We're doing our live for Wednesday nights. Tonight's show is the first time. It's a special one because it's going to be different from our other ones tonight. We're going to give it a few minutes, see who comes. It's a few minutes. We're a few minutes late tonight. It's like our live talk forums, and it is Do the Right Thing. Basically, it's a show called Right Thing for tonight. All right. So I'm a little behind. We're a little behind in our time. We're a little behind in our day. It's been like crazy, one thing after another, just like right with this energy. But tonight, what this forum is about, this new show is on 7:15s on Wednesday nights, and it is a live forum. I'm going to see if I can possibly brighten, I guess, the light on my phone in a moment, but because it looks a little dark and I'm having a little bit of an issue seeing. So thanks God for changing that now, please. First of all, thank you all for coming. Super grateful. So tonight's new show is called Right Thing. It's about doing the right thing in these times when nobody is really doing the right thing. All right. So what we're going to address in this show is what the right thing exactly is. Okay. The right thing is not what we think in Earth World. The right thing sometimes is in alignment with Earth World societal beliefs, right? But the majority of the time, right, it is not. It has to always be from the purest form of love. Everything we do and teach and practice in our reality really should be from love in the purest form. That's what the new world is about, right? That's what we teach. That's why you guys are here, right? Teaching about love, coming from love. This is what this show is about, doing the right thing, right? Because we live in this world where people are saying crazy shit. They're not doing the right thing. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks, Sophia. Hi, Maddie. Hi. And thank you all you guys who are coming here. I know it's a weekday. That's why we picked it. It's a great time for this show. It's a little bit different than our usual times on the weekends. So now we have 3 shows, right? And tonight it is about doing the right thing from love, not necessarily society's right thing, but what is the right thing from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is, right? And really, Christ consciousness teaches love. That's what it is. It is higher vibration knowing, all right? And being in your heart space, authentically in your heart, is the first step that all of us need, or behooves us all to be. And we don't need to do anything, really, right? But being in your heart is key to making your best choices, your best decision, your best guidance, your best solutions, right? No matter what religion you are, no matter what, your belief system is, right? As long as you come from love and are authentic in your heart, you will be able to talk to anybody and everybody, right? And work out the best solutions, the best of everything from love, because that's how love works, right? So this show is designed for you guys to come and ask questions here, right? And get solutions here. Some stuff is going to be really complex and it may take a whole entire hour. Who knows? Sometimes 2. Sometimes I may have to talk to you privately, by personal message later on if you really are interested in assistance and it's a big thing. You know what I'm saying? A big thing where we got to get more information. Some stuff, as you guys know, can't be said, literally in the way that we would like to say on the air. And sometimes I need to, just like if I'm going to guide somebody to do certain things for their health. Some things have to be said in private, right? Just because of the crazy rules and the crazy world that we live in, even though it's from highest knowing, right? So this is about getting the answers that you need, the best solutions for you that you need for everything, right? Whether it's a problem with your neighbor, right? You don't know what the right thing to do is, with your mother-in-law, with your sister's husband, with your daughter who's promiscuous, your son who's fucking doing drugs and lying about it, whatever the solutions are, that's what we're here for. And this can go for court cases, all kinds of crazy shit, because crazy shit is what's happening today. And people don't know. They don't know what the right thing to do is. I mean, every day I have these battles every day and I'm like, okay, God, what's going on here, right? Well, my whole life has been constant battles, right, of dealing with stuff like this. And in these times, no better time to be guided to than a show like this. And this is what they have guided us to. They meaning universe, God, love, angels, right? All that is love which I call God. I'm guided to call God, right? So that said, you guys can ask any questions, whether your kid should be in private school or public school, or you're having a problem with the principal, or the music teacher is fucking nasty, and how do you deal with that, right? I mean, we've been through all of this shit, right? But the best teacher for us is real life. The best guidance and assistance is from knowing and being and doing. That's why Earth World is so amazing. By living it, right? By living in Earth World, with age comes wisdom. By living, we learn, we grow. Amazing things happen. Can I have some of that? Thank you. Anyways, we totally need some sage here. It's been like a fuck storm. We've been talking on like T-Mobile and having problems with the phones because we're trying to get the phone system set up, and then we're trying to do 3,500 other things, of course, and then something else pops up. But that's these times. That's what's going on with what's going on in the stars, right? In the transits. So this show is totally about that, right? And I'm gonna first see if anybody has any questions, right? And as well as, and this can be, like I said, deeper stuff, like your son is in prison. How do I get him out of prison, right? What's the true story? But the key here is, if you want the best solutions from love, and you want the energy that we're going to put out there, because we're going to help you make these things happen for you in the healthiest, best way. In other words, get you the solutions, do the spiritual work with you, teach you how to do it, right? Answer your questions. You can do it yourself as well. But if you run into a crossroads and it isn't happening for you, or you can't figure it out, this is what we're here for, right? But it can be simple stuff as well, like we just talked about, right? Challenges with principals and teachers and schools, and getting COVID-19 shots or whatever, right? Well, you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that. So really simple stuff, but also really complex stuff, right? My whole life has been all about this, especially having some of the astrological placements that I have. For example, Black Moon, Lilith, and Pisces, right? So that is really a challenging life to have and lead, because it's about constantly fighting abuses in your life, right? So that why? Because it's about you healing you internally, right? So you'd have all these challenges out here, but that's just one of the placements, right? That has guided us to this destiny to help people, because it sucks when you feel like you're the victim or you don't have anybody to help you. It sucks. It does. And you're like, what the fuck? But that's why what we teach and do is so important, right? Usually when people get to me, they have asked God for help. They have asked love for help. They're like, God, I need to know the God's honest truth. I need a solution for this. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I was scrolling down the internet and I saw your face and I knew I should call you. I just felt it, right? That's what this is about. Because anything I have done in my life, needed assistance with in my life, it was all about asking, you shall receive. So I would ask God, hey God, hey love, hey angels, I got a problem. Here's what's going on. What do I do? What about this? How do I handle this? What's going on here, right? So I would always ask and talk to universe, and all my solutions would come, right? Now, this also means that you have to be straight up. God's honest truth. Is this really what's going on? Because just like everything I do in my life, my job is to help people. But if you don't tell me the God's honest truth, right? Like if people, let's say, lie to me or try to get away with not really telling me the whole truth, God's going to tell me the truth, right? And I'm going to give you stories today that are going to give you examples of this as we talk and we get into this show tonight. Stories of my experiences with people who lied, who cheated, who tried to take advantage of me, who were pieces of shit from their darkness in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't mean the whole person is a piece of shit. It means they're acting from a toxic place in them. And that's where I have the problem. People will be like, Lynn, why do you get so pissed off and you get wild? Only time I get really fucking wild is when people aren't doing the right thing from love. And if they put it on my fucking table, then it's war. It's fucking war, because I have to love me, because if there's no me, guess what? There is no life. There is no beautiful things, right? And that's what freedom is, man. It's like the whole world needs to wake up and get a clue. Love is freedom. Love is doing the right thing. And when we're all in that space, amazing things happen. But never does it lie, cheat, steal, be motherfucking toxic and throw their shit at you. And when that happens, You have to stand up for you from love. You have to have the gifts and tools, right, that you need from love. And if nobody teaches us how to do this, then we feel overwhelmed. Yes, of course, we're going to go into Earth World and we're going to do Earth World solutions and systems. That's what Saturn is all about, right? You get pulled over by the cops, you get in some kind of trouble, you're going to get a lawyer, right, to help you get out of that, most likely, right, if God guides you to that. Sometimes you just need the advice of a lawyer. Sometimes you'll actually need a lawyer, right? And I will talk about all these really cool stories, just like when my neighbor cut my fucking bushes down, right, without even asking about me. Some of you might have saw those posts. It was a while ago. I want to say the last few years, right? They cut my bushes down on the whole side of my house, right? And that was like crazy shit, right? So things like that, because, we have to live with these people, but also we cannot allow anybody to shit all over us, because if there's no us, there is no life. There is no life. That's why freedom is love, and it's so important. Like when you get all these woke people and they're like, yeah, we're all about socialism, right? And they're all about the shot, and they're all about all the shit that's going on out here, right? And this is the greatest thing. And you got to say to yourself, it's going to be a sorry day, the day that things don't work out good for them, the day that if they're blessed enough to have children, the day that their freedoms are taken away from their children. Oh, the shit is going to fucking hit the fan. The day anybody can't have their dreams met for their family. But that's how Earth World works. It puts it in front of your face. If you don't get the smack in the head from universe when they tell you, Lynn, you're not doing the right thing, and you're like, oh, I can't hear you, God, I can't hear you. Oh, I don't hear nothing. I choose to ignore this. Or maybe you don't even see it, and it's a subconscious energy running in you, right? But you bet your ass when Earth World smacks you in the back of the head hard enough with it for like the third fucking time, you're going to get it. And that's what's going to happen with all these people out here who, are in the woke mentality of, the Joe Biden shit and getting the shot. It's heartbreaking, because I have a lot of clients who went and got the shot, and they're like, yeah, we got the shot, and they want to have babies, right? But they can't hear me. They don't get it, right? The propensity of them to have babies is really, really not in the healthiest space. And if they can't hear me, then I certainly can't help them. But universe God, Saturn's Earth World, universal law of Saturn, right? Earth World karma, governor of time, governor of character, integrity, honor, respect, from love in the purest form. That's what Saturn is, Earth World governor of everything Earth World in this dimension, right? Saturn's all about doing the right thing, right? When all of these things come to fruition, whatever comes into the collective, because there's 1,000,001 things floating out here that are coming for all of us. And if you're not in the healthiest space of love and in your heart space and in your God space, you're going to have the greatest fucking challenges of all. Just like my clients, I try to talk to them about what was the wisest choice for them. I don't tell anybody what to do. If you're on this channel, follow your heart. Talk to God. Do the right thing from love. Ultimately, you're responsible for your own decisions, no matter what the fuck I say here. You are. You are. Because that's the law of the universe. You make your choice and you say, well, Lynn told me to do this, or so-and-so told me to do that, and I should have done this, right? But the bottom line is, you're responsible for your shit, your health, your business, your money making, your children, your career. And when I say your children, it's a balance, right? How long and why you do things that you do, like taking care of your children, right? Of course, when they're younger especially, right? But there's a whole metaphysical law here, both in Saturn's Earth world and metaphysical, that is all of love and all that is God, that governs everything in this reality. And the more you come from love, the more, and are in your heart, the more you will naturally work with this energy and know how to work and utilize it. And you won't even need me on this show anymore, because you'll get all your information from highest knowing all the time. That's the whole goal of any spiritual teacher or any spiritual being who teaches and assists people in the world, right? Their whole purpose is to give you the tools to set you free. So the more you do what it is that we teach, and you morph it with God or universe, right, in your own special way, the greatest the life and the gifts and the tools and the wisdom you're going to have, right? Yeah. because that's how it really works. But this show is going to show you how to handle all these crazy things by your calls and your questions, right? And as simple as they are, as well as the stories of my whole fucking life, because I shit you not, the shit that I have gone through in this life is like a fat ass book like this. I am not kidding you. Everything from lawsuits to husbands to abuse to drugs to business to anything that you need assistance with and for. I just talk to love. And I get it, as well as I have Earth World Solutions. And anybody who wants to send us information or put information up there to help people, by all means do, because you make your own choices, and we're really here to help everybody else. So Rachel and Jen, if somebody posts something up there, please tell me, because I'll tell them if it's what's best for them, right? Because it's not, there's a general rule with Saturn's Earth World and all that is God from love, right? There's a general rule in this dimension and with all that is love, right, that we are all governed by. However, we all are unique to ourselves, as we talked about before. So a solution that, Rachel and Jennifer may both go to be going to prison, let's say, for the same thing, right? Let's say whatever happened, they robbed a bank and they're going to prison, right? And they're going to federal prison. But the solution for Rachel could be completely different from Jennifer, and there'll be totally different paths. So when you put stuff up to share, please don't get offended. And if you do, clear it out, because that's just your shit, because we didn't use your shit, and then it pings on you not feeling good about you, right? Because that's how it works, right? When we take things personal, we're not good enough because Lynn didn't use my solution or whatever. No. This is about higher knowing of love, and I'm super thrilled because what you put up there might be for somebody else, and we just might use it. But we must always go with the solutions from highest form of love, because that's what I'm guided to do in the show, and it isn't a personal hit on you guys. Everything we do here is designed to help and assist you from love in the purest form, right? With everything, okay? That's what all our shows are really about, right? To teach you the tools, to give you the guidance. So this is why it will be different for Rachel than it would be for Jennifer or Sophia or Madeline, right? It may be very similar, but uniquely super different for all of us, because the answers come from love energy or God that is best for you, best based on your energy and the uniqueness that is all of you. So that's why the solution may not be the same for everybody, but as a general rule in Earth World, just like when the doctors give you antibiotics for being sick, right? Usually they'll help for certain conditions, right? They'll usually help sometimes, right? Or a lot of times. And they'll help a bunch of people. That's the general rule. But sometimes they won't. And there'll be a whole bunch of other reasons why. Just like when I couldn't get help in the medical field, when we got the mold sickness and all of this that's going on, right? That we're working on healing from, right? When I couldn't get the help in the medical field, right? We went everywhere, and there it is in my chart. And the universe says, these people can't help you, Lynn. These people can't help you. You must do this. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, can't I just get a fucking pill and be done with this? They're like, So the bottom line is there'll be exceptions, and that's why I told you that little story, right? Is because, right, for most of my life and for most of us people with general stuff, right, there's a whole way things work, a law of Earth World, a law governed with love, from love, and as Saturn as the governor of this, right, as well as love in the purest form across the board. And there are exceptions to every rule, but as a general rule, this is how things work. This is why I could go to the doctor, spend $10,000, couldn't get the help I needed, everything was fucked up, and it's for multiple reasons that I went and did all that. And we've talked about that in our other shows, so I'm not going to go into that right here, right now, because we have discussed it. And if you guys have any questions in reference to that, whole area, you can look at the other shows, or you can ask me personally here or on a personal messenger after the show, or you can send me a message, okay, if you want to know anything about that personal stuff that we talked about as some of my challenges. But it has everything to do with how unique we are, right? If God says to me, and it's in my chart, right, that these people aren't going to be able to help me, but this is for multiple reasons, right? So that said, this is why we're doing the show, because in these times people don't do the right thing, and it's just crazy shit, and it makes no sense. So this said, I'm going to ask if anybody here, I'm going to see if anybody here has come up with any kind of questions that they have that they need solutions to, okay? And then I'm going to go into some of my stories guided by spirit, right, to share with you guys from highest knowing. If, in case you don't have any examples or really understand this, I'm going to share those things, right? And because it also will teach you not only solutions for your everyday stuff here and that is actual happening with you guys, but it will also bring you to understanding of how I handle these things with God, because you'll get the first-hand story of what comes in, what happens, what I said to God, what happened in Earth World, the whole deal, right? Because the best way to understand and experience is by really truly living it, right? It's not enough just to pray on your shit. You got to work with God. You got to work with love. It's not enough just to meditate. You got to work with it, as much as possible. So I'm still putting on my rings. Thank you, Jennifer. So Rachel, does anybody have anything for today?
So far nobody online, but a lot of people are saying hello, and Jessie May especially is saying how excited she is for the new show.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Jessie May, and hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for coming. Remember, you can watch our YouTubes, right? On YouTube, all the replays of all our shows are on there, so if you missed some wisdom, there's plenty there for you, okay? You can also share our stuff. If you can donate, this is another donation show. Fantastic. Again, you will learn so much about how to handle everything. And what to do, and thank you. So if you can donate, do donate. I think Rachel puts up the app or whatever, the link for PayPal and what is it? Venmo, right? As well as you can send money or check to our shop and center. It helps us do the work that we do, as well as keeps us going on here as well. So thank you, and thank you everybody. And thanks everybody out here for coming too, and for your donations as well. Super grateful, super grateful. Okay, that said, nobody has any questions for today?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Okay, so one of the first things I'm going to talk about, which is really kind of like a simple everyday thing that you would think, right? We, as you know, I used to live in a house, right? And, we still technically have the house, right? And we're under lease contract with the house. So this is crazy shit, right? God is teaching us all kinds of new, amazing things in these times. Okay. And that said, before we had to leave our home, right? What happened was we had a neighbor, and, this neighbor, not that they're bad. Everybody does, to each their own. You do your own thing. And one day I came home and she had decided that the bushes in my yard, I don't know if anybody saw this on Facebook, but she decided that the bushes in my yard were too high and that she was going to cut them. And these are bushes that were got to be, what do you think, about 10 feet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they were wildly growing, but they went all the way down my driveway and divided our properties. And I am a big fan. My property is magical. Right? That's one of the things that I loved about the property and why we got the house we got, because it kind of has like walls and trees and walls with the bushes and stuff. So it was a very unique property, right? And I could feel the magical energy when I went there, right? But that said, my neighbor thought it was a good idea. I guess she wanted to trim. She's maddened by trimming everything, right? She's mowing her lawn on her tractor like 3 or 4 times a week. She's up at 7 a.m. doing it. Then she has landscapers fucking around in her gardens and trimming everything. And I don't care what you do. It's your space. You follow your heart. Nothing bad. I'm good with it. But don't fucking touch my shit. It's not your shit to touch. Not unless you what? You talk to me about it first, right? Right? If you, let's say you're coming in here and you leave your jacket here, and I see your jacket and I go, oh, I like that jacket, and I decide to wear it and I forget about it, and then I see you in the supermarket, you're not going to be happy when you see me wearing your jacket. You're going to be like, what the fuck, Lynn? Why you have my jacket on? And I'm going to go, oh, yeah, I meant to give it back to you, but I liked it so much that I wore it. And you're going to be like, what? Right? Who wouldn't be like that, right? Wouldn't you think that was a little strange? Yeah, same kind of thing. This is about boundaries. That's what this show is about too, right? Boundaries. What the right thing is, right? Knowing boundaries, knowing what to do, when to do, what not to do, what to say, how to say. This is everything that is that. In a world that is run amok with the bullshit that's going on out here, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy, right? So if you leave your jacket here, I'm going to hold it here till next time. I'm going to ask somebody, right, one of my people, to please call call you so we can return it to you because that's the right thing to do. I know that it belongs to you, right? So I'm going to do my best to make sure it gets back to you. Especially if you come here and you're sitting here in my space and we're working together and you want to get enlightenment and you want to get all the gifts and tools, and I see that you're from your heart, right? I would want to honor you. I would want to respect you. I would want to do the right thing, right? Because I recognize in you the goodness that is you, right? Yeah. And I don't need to be yanked and pulled. And even if I love your jacket, right? And maybe I might want one for myself, it doesn't mean I'm going to take it and steal it, right? No. If I want one of those jackets, I'm going to ask God for it. Thanks, God, for the best jacket for me. That is that or like that from love. And thank you, God, for that for us. And then next time you come in, you might be like, oh, Lynn, I saw that you love this jacket. And we may talk and you might give me that jacket. Right? Or universe might accidentally send me a package that happens to be a jacket like that. This is how God really works, right? Ask and you shall receive. So in my love energy space, I work with God or love all the time. And if I want a jacket or a boot, right? Like these cool ass astrology boots, you guys might want a pair of these, right? So just like these boots, right? Ask and you shall receive, because anything I have, right? You can have. We all can have, right? From love, right? Anything we want from love, as long as we're in our heart, in the healthiest, best space from love, right? So I know that I don't have to steal somebody's jacket or take their jacket, right? And I know what the right thing to do is energetically from love. First thing, I don't even have to ask that anymore now in the space of God I'm in, but if I'm not sure, should I take that jacket? God, what should I do? Should I hold that jacket for the person? What should I do? Right? Yeah. Just like if, I'm going to go back to the woman with the bushes in 1 minute because that's a big story, right? But there's something else that's coming in here too, right? Just like, the clients, I have some clients, right? And I do some work for me and then they don't pay me, right? And they think that I forget or that I don't know or that I'm not, I'm a wuss or a washover. Everything I do is guided by highest knowing of love. And if you don't honor me, they're going to take care of that for me, because that's how it works, right? Yeah, right? They're going to guide me with everything I do and need, and not to be shitty. I couldn't really give a shit about it because the universe totally takes care of me. But this is about honoring and respecting me. People say, Lynn, I don't have any money and I'll be able to pay you later. And then every time, right, out of the blue, like you might happen to talk to them, right? Or they call you, or you see them online, or they ask you a question and you're like, hey man, got that money yet? They're like, no, right? Okay, right? And then I just ask God to handle it, right? From love. Because they know when they're not doing the right thing. And if they don't know, universe takes care of that, right? So the bottom line is they should say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make good on this, Lynn. I'm going to do the right thing. And then you start acting on it and you start doing it, right? It's okay if you can't pay me. Just fucking tell me that straight up and be direct. It's okay. If I'm helping you, I already most likely know about it because I'm guided by higher knowing, as we all are when we work with it. Do you see? Right? And I get we feel bad when we can't pay, or we're not doing the right thing, when we don't have the money, right? Or we feel like we shouldn't pay for your services because we don't honor you, Lynn, or we don't respect what you do, or we don't feel this is worth something, like let's say, a car or a new jacket or a new shirt, right? But the next time, now you're out, because the next time you try to call me, I'm not going to take your fucking call. You think I'm kidding? That's how love works, because I'm going to remember, right? I'm going to remember, because the universe is going to say, Lynn, nope, can't help them. They're last on the list because they don't honor me. They don't respect me. They don't do the right thing from love for me, right? And this isn't really even a money thing. This is about honor, respect, being straight up, right? And honoring me in the healthiest, best way, right? So anytime people don't do the right thing, like they cancel calls or they don't show up, it's okay to cancel, but 3 strikes, man, you're the fucking out, right? Don't waste my time. I've had clients who did that, and they call me up and they're like, oh, I got to cancel again. I said, why don't you call me when you're ready to do this work? Because I cannot allow myself to be dishonored like this, and we'll go from there. And then they don't call me for a while. I just had somebody start working with me again, right? Because I love me in the healthiest, best way, right? And me, right? From love. And I'm always working on me, as we all are. It's all part of our journey. But when people don't honor and respect us, they're here for a reason. My job is to teach them love. And this is how you do it. So when they don't honor me, they don't respect me in some way, shape, or form. So if they don't call me, right, after 3 times, or they cancel 3 times, hey, when you're ready, call me and then we can talk, right? But in the meantime, I'm not scheduling any appointments with you because I got to honor me. I have to respect me. And if you won't do that, then I will return the energy from the healthiest space of love. Thank you, God, for that for me, always. Because if there's no me, right, there is no life, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? Same thing. And I've had people get damn nasty with me, right? They're like, they get all shitty and pissy. I get, you don't want to pay me. Why is that? You have to say to yourself, why don't you want to pay? Why don't you want to be good and keep your word? Why do you do stuff like this, right? So I'm going to ask God, what's the God's honest truth? Why is this person doing this? Why won't they honor me? They don't value me. Where do I not value me? And I'm going to do all this metaphysical work on me. But I'm going to give it to universe and say, return that energy to whom it is that is doing this, right? In the best way, from love, because of that, right? Now, I only will do this when I'm guided from higher knowing, but 98.999% of the time, universe has already done that. So the shit that's coming for these people who don't honor me, don't respect me, because I come from love and am guided by that highest knowing, and so should all of you be and are. If you're always working with love or coming from your heart, you're automatically in that zone. You don't got to be me or do what I do, but you will know by what happens in your life, right? Every day, right? And probably anybody who's seen this show that knows that I'm talking about them, they're going to be calling me up, hey, Lynn, I want to honor you. Because that's how it works, right? And I don't care. Honestly, I don't. My job is to go with what universe tells me, and then I let go, release it, clear it, heal it, changes, ask God to handle it, and I'm done with it. But then what you have to remember is when you don't honor somebody, you can't then go ask for their services. You can't really get help from them, right? You can't really get assistance from them. And then, you know how I am, then I might call you on your shit.
No.
Yeah. I know. And if anybody here who knows me, they know that I don't play games, man. I'm going to tell it like it is because that's what love does. The new world doesn't play any games. You know when a lion's going to bite your ass? He's coming. And he's coming for you. And he's not playing games. He's not saying, I'm really not going to do it. He's not. But he just wants you to honor and respect him and his space from love. Because this is how these things really work. So, remember this, 3 strikes, you're out. Anybody who doesn't do the right thing from love, 3 strikes. And a lot of us don't even know what the right thing is, right? And that's why I always say, ask love. Work with love so that when it gets complex or crazy or you're just not sure or you think you owe them or you don't, or you think you should, but you can't, right? And sometimes it's past life karma, right? And, and you have to talk to universe to understand these agreements, right? Just like when I went out there and I said, that Vladimir Putin just may be the person that's going to save the world for the light, right? And people are freaking the fuck out, right? But what they don't know is that in a different God space than they're in, right? Universe is talking to me the whole fucking time. And they could say, oh, that shit you're spewing out, Lynn, that shit you're spewing out, right? Meanwhile, God's like, let me tell you something about Vladimir Putin. He has a contract, a karmic contract, don't we all? Right? So anybody who knows about this kind of thing, and I could get into it, but I don't want to make this whole entire event show here all about Vladimir Putin. It's not about that. This example is about higher knowing of love. We all have karmic agreements, things that we agree to. I may owe Rachel, $500 from a past life, and in this lifetime, she doesn't pay me, and that's considered the debt settlement, let's say in cash, but it may be that she owes me energetically or vice versa. But you don't know these things, right? In traditional earth world, most people don't know this. This is what we're here to teach, right? It isn't in the fucking way that you think. So when you lend people money, see it as giving it to them. And if you get it back and you pray on it, you say, okay, love, Bring me back to this, right? Okay, love. If I lend somebody this money, I'm going to lend Rachel $500. Thanks for bringing it back to me, for her paying me back, if that's what's best. And if not, let me be free of it, and you bring me the money if this is what is best from love. And thank you, God, for that for me. And let me release it and be super happy being able to help her, right? And then you let go of it. But the second you start to say, oh, that little bitch cunt whore didn't pay me that fucking money back, and oh my God, the more, you're never going to get that money back. But if you come from love, because everything is energy, right? And you don't know the karmic agreements. So that's one way to do it in the earth world, right? And just work with love all the time. Then you can also say, okay, God, this person, like I had way back in the day, I used to work at a go-go bar, right? And I was the bartenders, before you people freak out. Right? Not that either one is bad, right? It is what it is in our journeys, right? And there's nothing bad about anything. It's just part of our journeys, right? I used to bartend in a go-go bar years back when I was in my 30s. And there was a dancer there, and I lent her $500. And then she paid me back. And then I lent her, she asked me like 6 or 8 months later for another $500, and I lent her the money again, right? And then I never saw her again, right? And I didn't get upset about it because I really loved the girl. I thought she was beautiful, and we had a connection, and I know that it was from lifetimes, right? And I wanted to help her, right? Because a lot of times people who do dancing for a living are not in a really healthy space. A lot of them are addicts. They're having all kinds of abuse issues and a lot of toxic stuff, right? Now that's not all the time, of course, right? However, this is my story, and I just gave it to God. And God, if you can bring me that $500 back, or bring me $500 from somewhere else, thanks, God. And may she be well, and may I let go of it, and may I be free of the toxic that I could drag around with this that makes me want to hold on to that money so bad. And when you want to hold on to things like money, right, you're in a toxic space of self-worth, right? Yeah, because you value money so hugely, right, in some way, shape, or form that is toxic and unhealthy. I get it's security in Earth World, and we're going to talk more in depth about this into the future. But the best way to know how to handle these things is by working with love all the time. So you know always what the right thing to do is, right? The right thing. I know, I don't even worry about that girl. I would actually love to see her someday. But the other side of this coin is just like the clients who don't pay me, and they're like, oh, I'm going to pay you next week. And then before you know it, years go by and you don't hear from them. And I know what's going on. Fuck. I'm psychic, you dumbasses. I'm like, for Christ's sake, right? And even more beyond psychic, because I talk to God all the fucking time. I eat, breathe, live, sleep God. And it's not to scare somebody. It's not to intimidate people. It's to help people, to teach the truth and teach them what the right fucking thing to do is. And don't think that I was a saint all my life. Obviously not, if I'm working in a go-go bar in my 30s, right? I was doing what I needed to do before and as I was on the spiritual path, but not in this space, right? Not in this space. But it doesn't mean it's bad or it's toxic. It depends on how I conduct myself in those spaces. Honor, respect, character, wisdom, doing the right thing. Because I, as a bartender, can bring a whole, and as the boss, can bring a whole lot of wisdom to these people who are down in having a hard time and down and out in their lives and having personal crazy stuff or lower vibrational, right? Doesn't mean all because I'm a bartender in a go-go bar that everything is bad or that I employ that or I'm doing what they're doing, right? My job was actually to instill the rules. There's a shocker, right? That's a Capricorn thing, right? Capricorn brings you the earth world rules. I can't tell you how many people tried to bribe me. Lynn, we'll pay you $5,000 or we'll come up with all this money so that you could do a live naked show here. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen, man. Because my integrity is not worth all the money in the fucking world, because this is who I am in my heart. So think about these things, people, when you make the choices that you make, right? Why you're doing what you're doing, right? Because I could have lost the liquor license for the business, for myself, my job, right? Back in the day, right? But these are the kinds of things that happen in these shady environments. They're trying to sell drugs, or the manager doesn't come in, and I would come in all the time, and I would show up, and then I would be the acting manager, But these are the things, right? So my light was able to bring a great light to the space. Do you see? And give these people some kind of code of ethics, right? That's one of the reasons we did the NA meetings here for a while, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Oh yeah, we were. We addiction meetings here for a while. Right? We did them. We basically gave them our space to rent for a while during the COVID times, right? Because I do addiction services anyways and mental health services across the board because that's what we do, right? So we do that as well as working with other groups guided by higher knowing, right? But so the reason we do these things is to help other people, right? And that said, that helps to teach them integrity, honor, and respect in a different way at a different vibration, right? And we did that for a while, and then guided by higher knowing, things got changed yet again, because if people don't honor, respect, come from love with me and with all people, right, then changes must be made. And if it's my space and things aren't working for me, then I have to make changes for me from love. And what is best for myself, my people, my family, from love, right? And if we all come from love, there's never going to be a problem with that. So like if I got a problem with, let's say, Sophia, and Sophia's not doing the right thing, or the client who doesn't honor me, right? I'm going to ask love to speak through me. I'm going to ask God to handle it. I'm going to ask love to take care of it. Thanks, love, for this for me. Thanks, love, for me doing the right thing from love. And what is that? Thanks for handling it. Do you see? Not the right thing necessarily in earth world, the right thing from love in the purest form and in earth world, right? And in earth world. Okay, so that said, what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards to the woman with the hedges, because I want to bring you back to these spaces, because so many people were on Facebook like having a problem with me getting annoyed at the woman for cutting my bushes, right? Because the bottom line is I'm not going to take out your car. Like if you leave your keys here, or I see your keys are on the table, I don't go take out your car. You'd shit a brick. You'd be like so afraid if I drove your car around and I never told you. You'd be like, holy shit, somebody stole my car. Right? Because I didn't ask you. I saw your keys were on the outside table on your porch when I went over there, and then I took your car for a ride. You're going to have a coronary. You kidding? Who wouldn't? Because I wasn't telling you about it. There's no communication. You don't even know about it. I'm not honoring you. I'm not respecting you. If I'm going to take your car, I need to what? Ask. Hey, so-and-so, could I borrow your car today or in a few hours or tomorrow? Or I need a ride here. Could you help me? And come from love when you speak. Don't speak to people. This is great because I know somebody in my life, this is ass kicking, and this person constantly talks condescending to everybody, doesn't say hello, and they don't even realize they're fucking doing it, right? Like I might say to, let's say, Sophia, who has a car, and I might say to Sophia, I'm taking your car this weekend. Is that all right with you? And you're going to be like, no, it's not. Then you're going to say, so-and-so, would you like to take my car? Do you see my point? Yeah, because that's not the way to fucking ask. You don't ask telling people with their shit. You don't, right? This is my water. If you'd like a sip, you ask. You don't grab my water and start fucking drinking it. Think about these things, because this is everything that I'm talking about. Knowing what the right thing to do is, having a moral code, a code of ethics with everything, right? Yeah, from love, from higher knowing, as well as the balance in earth world. And you can always stop and say, you know what? I didn't do the right thing way back when, and talk to the universe and say, hey, you know what? I want to make that right. And this goes for everybody who owe me money or whatever, or didn't do the right thing. You could always say, hey, you know what, Lynn? I forgot, or I want to make good on this. Even people who I don't work with anymore, because there's been some big discrepancies when they don't believe, or they have a problem and they think I'm in the wrong, or whatever their bullshit is. I had one girl who sent me a letter telling me that, this is fucking funny too. She used to work with me all the time, and I love her dearly, but shit is shit. And if you got your shit going on, I'm a great, I don't know what you would call it, sounding board, so to speak, or a board where people like to throw their shit at, right? Through higher knowing of love. So this person quit talking to me, sent me a letter, and just said, your relationship with my husband is the problem. And I'm like, I don't even talk to your husband. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about, right? So that's what this person said to me, that she can't live in a life, in a world where I'm talking to her husband all the time, or her husband and me have bad feelings towards each other. And really, this is all her delusions. It's about her and her husband's issue. It has nothing to do with me. She sends me a letter saying this is why she can't, be my friend anymore and shit. But this is the stuff that goes on in the world. People do crazy shit. And I just took the letter and I threw it in the garbage, because it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't have any value or any worth to me, but it does tell me what the truth is about what's going on in her, right? It does. It's, her husband, and I'm used to this shit, because whenever I teach somebody to get into their power space and they have a husband that's controlling or wants to call the shots, and there's all these other issues going on there, right, as we go on our spiritual journey, a lot of times the partners end up not liking me. But that's because they're shit. It's because of their shit. Jennifer knows about that. Jennifer has husbands that don't like me. But, the bottom line is, if you're in a healthy space of love, in you, right? She does. She has ones that can't stand me, right? And that's okay, right? That's okay. It's not my problem. It really isn't. So I can't get all caught up in their bullshit. But what I do is I say, I see this. I don't have to respond to this because this girl is wailing her shit at me. I don't even talk to her husband. Haven't talked to them in like a fucking year. It doesn't even faze me. And here she is throwing this letter at me saying this is why she hasn't been around and hasn't worked with me. And I'm like, okay, but really it's her delusions, her unwellness. What I do from here, I can choose to get all wild with it and contact her and say, hey, you sent me this letter and this is bullshit, and get a fight with her and all this crap. Or I can say, hey, God, what do I do with this, right? And the truth is, do I want to spend my time having an argument about a toxic letter that is so unhealthy, right? Do I want to go into that space when I don't see this girl anymore by her choice, not by me, right? It has nothing really to do with me. This is all her shit with her and her husband, and her going down the spiritual journey and the husband not being happy with it because she's starting to step into her power, and then he has no control. And then they're fighting all the time because this is the nature of that shit. And every time I work with people, this is what happens. So just giving you all a heads up, all you people who be working with me and have a husband over here, you either both got to go on the spiritual journey or there's trouble brewing. Right? So how do you handle it? You ask love to handle it. Now, there's exceptions to every rule. If your husband is in his heart and he can support you in the things that he does and he's in a healthy space of him from love, then you may not have these issues, right? Where the husband gets jealous and you can't do the spiritual thing and you can't do all this shit, and then all of a sudden, he's sending me a letter. Right? A toxic letter, right? But the bottom line is, right, with this, I know what's going on. And if I don't, I ask God, what is going on here? And this is clearly their arguments, their discussion that they pulled me into because I'm the spiritual guy they've been working with, right? And I can get all wrapped up and take it personal, or I can say, okay, God, handle this now, please. Let me be free of this. And if we can be friends or it can work out in the best way from love, then so be it, from love, right? And then several months later, she saw me at a stoplight and she beeped her horn at me and we both smiled. And I guess she was over it then. Because that's how things work. At some point, whether it's this lifetime or the next lifetime, the people, it's our spiritual journey. With age comes wisdom. With lifetimes comes wisdom. With lifetimes and age come gifts. Gifts from high-end love, right? Yeah. So, but in the meantime, right, so I pick and choose what I want to do, right? I pick and choose how I want to respond to this letter. If I want to get all wrapped up in their personal marital drama. Do I want to do that? I don't have the fucking time for that. It's one thing if they want to come here and honor me and pay me and have them assist with counseling or whatever, so we can clear out these blocks and these issues that they got going on. But it's a whole different ballgame when they send me a letter that's kind of nasty and shitty. And do I want to go in those spaces? No. So I just give it to universe. I let go and I let God do. So one of the best things you can do to do the right thing, is take a look at shit and say, do I want to get involved in whatever this is? Is this healthy for me? Do I want to put my energy into this? Do you see? Yeah. Do I want to go there? right? Just like when I have clients, who are millennials and they want to have babies and they can't have babies, or they're having challenges and they got the shot and they got another shot and another shot. It doesn't necessarily mean that they cannot have babies, right? But it's going to be super challenging now because of the toxic, especially if they can't come and get in a different space in here and do the work that it's going to take to heal this metaphysically and physically, right? Yeah. Big shit. And my heart breaks for these people, but I can't talk to them and get in arguments about them about things that they're not ready to get. And some things have to be given to us energetically in Earth world. That's why we're here, right? We don't know what it's like to be really thirsty on a hot sunny day, right? Until we don't have any water. That's how universe works, right? Saturn's Earth world gives us everything we need to get it, along with highest knowing of God or love, right? So I can't always say a lot of the stuff that I want to say. And this is for you guys too, with every situation, everything in your life. Let's say you've had these discussions like I'm having here about this with you guys, or I had this discussion or another discussion with somebody else and we can't see eye to eye. How many times do I want to try to convince somebody, or do I want to go to those spaces where I know it's toxic? Do I want to put my energy there? Do I? Is that what's best and healthiest for love and from love for me? And if you think you should, or you don't know if you should, ask love. Thanks, love, for me knowing for sure what the right thing to do is for love. Should I bring this up? Should I talk about this? I've talked about it a bunch of times. Remember that magic number 3. 3 strikes, you're out. Right? That's why there's so many earthworld sayings. 3 strikes, you're out. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. A leopard doesn't change his spots. Know these things about people. The majority of the people, especially in these times, are toxic. Their shit is oozing out of them, right? And you have to decide from love what's best for you. And sometimes the darkness is so subtle and so challenging and so out of control. You're just like, wow, right? The only place you can go is here. Do you see? To love. You know what I mean? Yeah. For everything. Right? And you take one thing at a time, and you can always make right on the things that you didn't get to do. Right? Meaning you can always change those things in you. Clear them out. Heal them. Ask God for the best way to be in place of them. Free you from it. Emotionally, feel it, release it, heal it. Emotionally and in all energy that it is. And put the best way to be from love in the purest form. In this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that, for us. Yeah. So that we can always do these things, right? And then you can say, like, if I owe somebody money from the past, okay, God, what should I do? And they'll say, don't worry about it. When it is time, you will make good on this. And that's what you do. But you don't be toxic. You don't be shitty. You ask love how to handle it, because then you'll be guided from highest knowing. And if you feel like you want to be toxic and shitty and unwell with it, ask love to free you from that. Ask love to speak through you. Ask love for the best way to be from love in the purest form, because that's how it really, really works. Do you see? Yeah. All right. So these are great examples, right, for all you guys. And remember, boundaries, 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 because all the stories and all the things that we're going to talk about here are going to be about boundaries. Again, knowing what to say, when to say, how to say, what not to say, what to do, when to do, what you want to get involved in, how you want to speak, right? Just like that one person who we were just talking about, you don't tell people what they can do with their stuff. It's their stuff, all right? You ask them. Ask from love. The best kind of gifts and tools are going to come from love when we ask with kindness, authentically, right? Because I get people who come in, and they get this bullshit fakeness on, and I'm like, oh my God, don't. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. You know what I mean? So, be authentic. If you can't be, ask God that you are. Ask love that you are. Ask love to speak through you. Ask love that you come from your heart, right? Yeah. because then everything will go fantastically wonderful, right? So all of these tools and all the stuff we're going to talk about, everything from the best attorneys, how to speak to your attorney, how to speak to each other, what not to get involved in, what can you get involved in, just crazy, really neat stuff that is all part of universal law and Saturn's Earth world, as well as metaphysical, that is all of love, right? And that's like I was talking about, I think a lot of people, the millennials and different kinds of people who are toxic, right? Because there's a lot of this, because they all been brainwashed really through the college systems, and they all get on my Facebook and they're like, fuck you, Lynn, and they're like, I'm a woke and I'm proud, and great, because I don't even have to worry about that kind of shit, because I know that God's got me and God's got you as well. God's got them as well. So their karma will return to them, right, in Earth world, with the things that will be taken away, the things that their dreams were and that they can no longer have. That's pretty shitty shit. Yeah, right? So, but, we all have the ability to work with love and to change everything and anything. But sometimes in our people's spaces, in these times especially, we get in these shitty fucking spaces and we can be pretty rough, right? Our toxic can be pretty rough, right? So this is why we're doing this, because with our toxic and with our unwellnesses, a lot of times we can't see the forest through the trees as to what the right thing to do is. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And sometimes it's super complex. All right. That said, I think I pretty much covered to give you some kinds of ideas that were pretty easy here, right? But I can also tell you big shit things like me with the realtor in my shop, in the shops that we have here, right? In my business, right? With the realtors, with houses that I've been in where people didn't do the right thing as well. All these crazy things and how to handle these things. Everything and anything from love. So that said, I'm going to come back to the lady with the bushes in a little bit. I'm going to ask anybody here if you got any questions. I'm also going to ask Rachel and Jen, what time is it? So we'll keep an eye on 8:15. All right. So we're going to keep going for a little while because I want to see if you guys have any other questions or anything for tonight. And does anybody have anything that they need solutions for? I think I gave you a basic idea, and it's also about coming from your heart, character, morals, of higher knowing, of love, Capricornian, Saturnian stuff, which is the governor of karma and the right thing to do from love in Earth world, right? All right? Because the truth is, people say to me all the time, they have these ideas of what they want to happen. I'm like, stop. Can't tell God what to do. You can work with love. Same thing with Saturn. There's no way you can bang your head on the wall all you want. If you're not doing the right thing from love, not working with the energy, not listening, not hearing, the shit is going to be that much more difficult and more challenging, because it happens over and over and over till we get the message in our hearts. Okay, so any questions here? Anybody have any solutions or things that they need? Did anybody say anything or no?
Not yet, I don't think.
No, but you know who did pop on? Oh,
who?
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sophia has one, but go ahead, Jen.
Chris Morrow came by.
Hey, Chris Morrow. Awesome. Thanks for coming.
So did Bruce Albert.
All right. Hi, Bruce Albert. Good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Who else? Anyone else?
Yeah. Jessie May's been here. Teresa Courtney Lloyd.
My regular
Ashley
usuals.
Canduese.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Awesome. Thank you all for coming. Thanks.
Wendy Hall.
Wendy! All right. Anyone else?
Not right now.
Okay. So Sophia, who is here in our audience, has a question. Do you need a solution to something, Soph?
I do. I feel like lately with everything that's going on, I have a lot of rage, and I get very wild in the moment. And I'm wondering if you have any solutions for me, like what's the best way to deal with that?
Okay.
My rage.
All right. So Sophia's asking, with everything that's going on in both our personal lives and in the world, Sophia's asking, she's saying she's having a lot of rage. Totally get that, And that's understandable. One of the reasons we all have rage in these times, or get upset and angry and pissed off, is when somebody isn't honoring us. So right now, what's happening in the world, they're not honoring us, right? They're taking away our freedoms. They're not doing the right thing from love, right? They're not, trying to be a government for the people. They're trying to take over everything. And it definitely is fuck toxic. And there's no way it doesn't affect everybody, because the fear, the anxiety, of everything that's going on out here definitely takes an energetic toll on all of us, right? And any time in nature, when an animal, if you think about it, because nature is the perfect reflection of God and love and all that is, right? Because it's the grand perfect design, right? And you see an animal, what does an animal do when he's threatened? He attacks. He says, don't fuck with me. And he'll, like the bird who sees the cat in the tree, right? And the cat's trying to get his eggs in the nest, right? The bird flies down and attacks the cat, right? He'll do some warning stuff, but if the cat ain't listening, then he gets harder with it, right? And that's what has to happen in Earth World, right? People say, oh, we should just get peace and peace. Oh, you know what? I would love to tell you that is the greatest solution. And if we all came from love, that would be possible. But these people aren't coming from love. They're fucking trying to kill you. I'm like, that's not coming from love. It's like get a fucking clue for all of us, right? But when that happens, you have to hit the demons in a language and in a way that they understand, right? And that's what the bird does to the cat. The cat ain't listening. Don't eat my fucking babies. Don't eat my family. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then the bird pecks the fuck out of that cat until the cat quits, because that's what it takes to stop the bullshit that's going on there. Right? Because he has to do that. Because why? Because he loves him. He loves him. Because if there's no him, he has no life. He has no family. He has no nothing. And that's what we all have to get. When they say America first, oh yeah, America first. You're damn right, America first. Because if there's no America, there is no us, people. And yeah, of course, if we come from love, we're going to help the whole world. Absolutely, because that's what love does, right? But in the toxic spaces that this world is in, you have to meet the demon with an energy that they understand. And sometimes that means fighting. Sometimes that means war. Sometimes that means takeover. But it certainly isn't going to go where it needs to go through peaceful protesting. Look at history. Look at nature. Something doesn't go right, you got to step up. And you have to get your Mars on, right? Your Mars on for you, right? Yeah. So this is what we're talking about here that totally relates to all this. This energy that's going all over. Because really, if you think about it, they're threatening you. They're threatening your freedoms. They're threatening your society. They're doing all this stuff and tearing up the whole country, right? Look at what's going on. Look at the whole COVID epidemic, right? The whole shot epidemic. The lies, the propaganda. You got to be a fucking idiot if you can't see what's really going on, quite honestly. Really. But we're so brainwashed and so toxic, right? And we have totally lost the whole essence of being in our hearts and the God energy. And if we had that, then there wouldn't have to be violence, and there wouldn't have to be shittiness, right? And there wouldn't have to be, all the things that are going on, because love and being in your heart does authentically, in the purity of all that it is, from the highest form of love or purest form of love, doesn't fucking do that. It doesn't do that. That's not how it works. Yeah. So this energy is absolutely playing a massive toll on all of us, right? On all of us, So you're experiencing a lot of this. So you're going to have a lot of bottled up rage. All of us are. Just like when I get pissed off when somebody doesn't honor me, if they don't do what they say, if they don't pay me, they don't call me, they don't do this. Most of the time I'm pretty flexible, right? That's that lion energy in me. Lions are pretty kind of chill, They'll sit in the fucking prairie until they've had enough, right? And when they've had enough, they've had enough, right? So, and that's also the Capricorn Moon, right? Capricorn Moon will give people a million chances, but that can also be my Achilles heel, right? So this is why we have to stand up for ourselves and stop the shit that's going on. right? When it becomes toxic to us, which is why you're experiencing this rage. Rage is a natural feeling of protecting you in the healthiest, best way. In as long as, right, you're having an avenue to funnel that out and you recognize it as this. And you're in a healthy space of it, right? It's all part of being human. So many people get wigged out by me because I'm in a heart space. I'm in a high-end God space. And they think that my passion and the way I talk and act is rage. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Lynn? But really, if we all really truly lived and were in our hearts, we would all be excited about our lives. And we would all be pissed off and get rage on. Absolutely. When people aren't doing the right thing and honoring us and trying to take away our livelihood, our kids' dreams, our children, our health, everything. Right? Think about this, man. Think about this. Truth of God and love. This is all your emotions. They're all part of everything that creates in your reality, right? But they're all also part of the human condition or the human energy. I hate to say condition because clear that out. That's not the best word that I like to use for that. Condition. It's almost like condition it's not like it has an energy that's not of the healthiest form of love. The universe tells me it's like a condition, having a condition that you can't do something. So there's like a negative undertone of that. And this is also what we will teach you all about words. Words are energy, right? So having a human energy, emotional energy, or a human emotional space, right? As opposed to a condition, the human condition, right? Because a condition means it's like an epidemic. It's not a good thing, right? When really our emotions are healthy as fuck in the healthiest, best space, and we should have emotions and we should experience emotions, right? We don't feel our emotions. We're not really what? Living. We're not. You know, and this is all part of the healing that we're working on in these times, guided by the highest knowing of the stars, of the transits in astrology and everything that is connected to all that is God, that is love, that is us. This is all part of this massive healing on the whole planet. Okay? All part of this. So, Sophia, what you're feeling, I'm feeling. I'll bet you every single one of these people here are feeling. And the whole world is feeling to some degree, right? I don't care even if the millennials, right, the ones that are for the socialism, and not all millennials are bad, you know, it's like this is what I see as an epidemic in Saturn's Earth world that is an issue, right? But it's not really in some ways, it's Earth world conditioning of the school systems here, right? That these kids went to these colleges that were bought out by the darkness years ago. And what do? They teach hate. They teach hate America. They teach all this unwellness, right? And you see your child who goes to school and comes out and you mortgage your house for that. Holy fuck, would I be wild if that happened? Which is the very reason I took you guys out of school. I didn't work my whole life to come from love and work on me and to create my greatest life, to have my children go down in the fucking flames of bullshit and toxic, to lose everything that I love. Fuck no, right? It's up to us to change these things in this earth world. It's up to us. Right? The people. Because nobody's better than anybody. Nobody. All right? So everybody's going to have a lot of rage and a lot of stuff that's going on. All right? And if you have any questions, people, about anything I say here, please speak up. I will tell you the God's honest truth about what universe, angels, love guides me to share with all of you, because this is what I do, right? So, Sophia, that rage also in Earth world, a really good way with this Mars energy. Mars energy is a beautiful thing. It's what allows us to act. It's what's going to allow us to bring our country back where we do things to change it, just like this show, just like our shopping center. We're literally doing things in Earth world, not just praying, not that praying is anything less, right? Along with praying and working with universe and listening to God and asking and talking and working with all energies that is love, right? But actually doing and working with that Mars energy, right? So one of the things that's really great for Mars and Uranus energy, like this rage, right? And this wildness that many of us have going on is exercise, right? Physical something. It could be cleaning the house, right? It could be going for a walk. It could be going for a run, right? Physical comes in. What can you do that's physical, right? It could be driving those little race cars. It could be going on a roller coaster. It could be going to a fun park. You see what I'm saying? So there's multiple ways to be physical to get this energy out. But one of the best ways is through physical exercise. Absolutely. So, and also, what else comes in? Like those things that fly in the sky. What do you call those?
Hang gliding?
No, but that you could do hang gliding too, right? Because it's actual physical action. And Mars is all about the physical, right? Like when Grandma talks about things, we talk about Grandma, and Grandma's always working on her house, right? She's like, I have 50,000 lava rocks on in my house. My mother we're talking about, right? And she has all this Aries energy, like 6 placements of it, right? In her chart, right? So crazy, right? So in her soul. So she will like dig for hours to get all the lava rocks out. And that's an Aries thing, right? They're doers, right? And she's like, isn't that great? And meanwhile, I'm like an intellectual. I'm like, okay. I'm like, if that's what you feel you should do, then you do it. But this is a great way to help and free us from what? The energy, to release it in a healthy way. That's going to be good for us. Does that make sense? Yeah. Also, what comes in for you is the lavender, putting lavender essential oil in a diffuser, also putting it on you, with a carrier oil, right? Smelling it, breathing it in. You can put a little bit on your clothes. I also like frankincense for that. Okay, so these are all good solutions for to release this rage, right? And also pray on it. Ask love to be free of this energy. Ask love to put the best way to be from love. Ask love to release this emotional stuff, and always do your energy work, do your spiritual work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the stuff that we've been doing and working on. Do your chart work, man. Right? Look for those placements that cause rage, right? Like Mars conjunct the Sun, or you know what I'm saying? Mars and Pluto and Libra, or conjunct, right? Also your Chiron, your Black Moon Lilith, start working on those things to release it, because this will help you get rid of the darkness that is in that anger energy, let's say. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right? Because there's positive and unwell in everything, right? Or positive, or negative in everything, right? You can say negative, but really I call it, there's good things and unwell in everything. And it's up to you. You have all the power, the magic of God or love, to change anything and everything all the time. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's up to you. But if nobody teaches us and we don't work with all these energies, then we're challenged more, right? And over time, we will learn how to cope with these things. Sometimes we get forms of like PTSD with the fears and stuff like that, because your soul will do what it takes so that you can survive. And that's also a Mars energy. That's why Mars is the warrior energy, because people who have a lot of Mars in them have gone to war for lifetimes, and they've seen horrific shit and have been through horrific shit. And Mars is the energy that can shut it off emotionally, and shut it off and power through anything. It's incredible what Aries and Mars people, if you talk to them, I'm sure many of you know them, or if you have those placements, what they have been through in their lives and can still stand up and get through and be functional, right? And this is part of the gifts of the Aries energy, right? And so these are awesome tools, all of these, to help you with this. Does that make sense? And thanks for having a great question, because that's a really simple solutions question for doing the right thing for you. What can I do to help me with this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So do you have any questions? Also comes in bike riding for you, which is nice. Swimming and the ocean. You know why the ocean comes in too, metaphysically? Because the ocean is you have a Cancer moon. So then you're just going to be going into the rhythms of emotional flow. And by going literally to the ocean, being in the ocean, being on the beach, being near the water, is going to help heal you emotionally. Isn't that cool? And letting the emotions, the water, especially in the summertime, right? You can't go there when it's 27 degrees, right? You got to let the water, although some people do that polar plunge thing, right? So letting the water wash over you. Do you see? Yeah. And so that energy is going to help to heal you. And a lot of you water signs probably connect with water as well, right? Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, right? You connect with the water, but that's super healing for you. Super healing. So all these things will help you immensely. Tools both in earth world. You can also do, my favorite, the salts, people, the cell salts, right? Really good for stuff like anxiety and stress. I do number 4 for anger and release. And what's funny is that's one of my main go-tos, right? Like if I do a lot of energy work and I'll pull out all this rage out of somebody, and then you guys have seen me be like, get away from me, don't talk to me right now, I got to get rid of this rage, and I'll do lavender and I'll ask God to clear it, and then I'll be doing number 4s, right? Number 4 cell salts, right? And this will help you release it as well. So these are great earth world tools. And then again too, watch what you eat, because what we eat can inflame us and make it even worse. Does that make sense? Yeah. And you got this, girl. You got this, okay? All right. So anybody else have any questions? Did you guys think of anything yet? What do I need here? Oh, my water. Okay. Anybody else have questions?
Teresa Courtney Lloyd is asking. She said, I lived my whole life in survival mode. I'm learning to have peace with it. If you have any suggestions.
She lived her whole life what?
In survival mode?
Yeah. So, do I have any suggestions on how to like truly live? Is this what she's asking? And this is what I feel like she's asking.
I feel like.
Yeah. All the tools that I just gave for Sophia are fantastic. Lavender oil is a great release. Lavender Essential Oil, I really like doTERRA and Young Living. Great for smelling. Aromatherapy, you can put it in a diffuser. You can also mix it with a carrier oil and put it on you, you know. Again, look into these things so you research them so you feel good about them. And the biggest thing is ask love. Ask God if this is what's best for you, right? That said, you can also use different cell salts as well for this, right? To help you release stuff. I'm just going to ask universe. And then you can also use them depending on what's going on in your chart. And that is always also super important, doing the energy work, releasing the fears, the anxiety, you know what I mean? The stresses, like in survival mode, the things that are blocking you from truly enjoying your life, right? The metaphysical stuff, right? So, excuse me. Your North Node, your South Node, your Chiron, your Black Moon Lilith, right? And we're going to do a healing class, and this is for everybody, and we may do this in the future, like in our medical intuitive stuff. I know that we're going to do a massive 12th house clearing class tomorrow, because your 12th house, ooh, it's a bear. It's your past lifetimes. It's your psychological demons. It's where we imprison ourselves. It's the mental institution. It's where we go nuts. It's our addictions. It's our bipolar, our schizophrenia. It's actually our health mentally and physically as well, because the 6th and the 12th house, 6 and 12 medical intuitive, right? Friday nights, right? So the 12th and the 6th house in our astrology go hand in hand with our health. I mean, so when you're living in survival mode, that's done in a fear place. So I would also look into the Mars placements. So this is about doing energetic work in your chart, right? So if we sat down and we looked at your chart, these are some of those places, and I would pull up like 5. If you don't know how to do this in the future, we're going to work on these things probably in the medical intuitive classes and or events that we do here, and as well as, you know, like the classes that we have with us. You can work with us and we'll take a look at your chart. Those are the paid for classes, and now we're now going to do those on Tuesday and Thursdays. But I know that tomorrow we are doing a massive 12th house clearing class. Incredible shit, so that everybody can step into their own. Now, again, we can also do it here, but this is more personalized to you because it's a small group, and then everybody's more open as well. There's certain shit that, you know, as open as I am, that we need to be wise about and, let's say, not say, or somebody might not be comfortable. It's a more personal environment, right? Also, the 3001 book thing, right? That would be great for you too. And I'm not trying to make anybody come to the pay for classes. I don't give a fuck what you do. You do what your heart guides you to. And I know that God is going to take care of you no matter what. And me too, right? So, but these are tools. Look into your 12th house. See how many planets you got going on there. What's going on there? Do you have intercepted houses, right? Excuse me. And if you don't know what those things are, you can always work with me. But, excuse me. These are things, right, that we, energetic things that give you the avenues to go to in your soul to remove these energies in you that don't allow you to live, that have great anxiety, that you stress the fuck out and you don't know how to have fun. And usually a lot of times that goes in with your North and your South node, right? And all the placements that I just gave you to explore, because it's over and over and over. When you're such a super, super old soul, Teresa, like we all are, right? You have massive work to do on you. And if we don't do that work, right, then it never goes away and we can't really live. And what's crazy is, I was just telling my family and everybody at the last class that I did, is that I had a past lifetime, right? I asked God to know what it was like to be an animal, right? And I was like, oh, I want to feel what it's like to be an animal. I want to really understand and know what that feels like. So I want to be in touch with animals. I want to talk to animals and me have having Sag rising, I already have so many of those gifts, so it makes it easier for me to connect with this energy when I do regression style energy work, right? So I talk to God and I go into those spaces because one of my gifts through my Pisces and all of my astrological gifts and working with God is that I can tap into your past lives. You guys have all seen me do this work, right? So I had Jennifer and her boyfriend at the time, John, right? We're not going to go there right now, though, in terms of personal shit with that. However, the three of us were pulling out past lifetimes, and I was sitting there doing this work with them, and I had a past lifetime as a tiger. And this is for you. This is directly related to you and really everybody here. This is everything to do with your 12th house, because we're not really fucking living. We're not living our dreams. And this is why everybody's complacent. It's like, okay, it's okay if you poison us with the shot. It's okay if you do whatever. It's okay, socialism. It's okay. Until what? It's okay till your kids are dying, till you're starving, you're so fucking sick, you're a drug addict, and you can't even take care of yourself? You think it's going to be okay then? Fuck no. Right? But we're not really living, right? We have to be passionate to live our dreams, our greatest lives, right? So I asked God, to connect with animals, right? And I pulled up 2 lifetimes, one where I was a dragon and another one where I was a tiger. And that tiger lifetime was so fucking profound because I was living. It was the greatest thing to be a tiger to me. And then I realized, right, it was just amazing. I was a tiger. I was on the top of the food chain. And I was loving my life, right? And then somebody shot me, right? And it was like a king, an emperor. And I was fucking pissed off as the tiger. And then I fucking hated people and I was enraged. How could they not respect and honor this beautiful tiger and all the essence of what it was, right? Heavy shit. And we think, oh, it's just an animal. You have no idea. Animals feel everything. They are everything that is God. And the coolest thing about them is they have massive amounts to teach people, because you know what? They're really living. Holy fuck. I was a tiger. I was alive. I was like, yeah, I'm hunting today. Look at my paws. This is pretty cool having these paws, right? Neat shit. But what I came out with it was I was crying my eyes out because I was angry because I got shot. I was pissed off because humanity couldn't fucking value me and my life and how beautiful and amazing I was. And they took that away from me, and I was angry as fuck. And then I hated man. And who would think that a simple lifetime we would think in human being, earth world thinking as a tiger would be so profound? And the worst part about it, really, all these things were my greatest gifts for healing me, right? Because the biggest, most profound thing about that lifetime is that I realized that as a person, I'm not even fucking living compared to that tiger, man. I'm not living. I'm not alive with my passion. I'm not looking at the stars. I'm not rolling over and going, yeah, this is the greatest. I'm so busy in the bullshit crap of the garbage in me, and I'm missing out on everything that's in here. Everything that I am. Everything. Incredible shit, right? This is where we're going. This is who we want to be. We want to be in our greatest selves and our greatest lives. And the only way we can get there is being in your heart. And Teresa, I'm just like you. I totally get it. And all these people here do too. So does the whole entire fucking earth world. Because these are the things, right, that are truth of God, that the whole world is lacking. The heart, the passion for their dreams, for themselves, loving everything about yourself. Because that truly was how I felt as a tiger. Truly. I love my stripes. I love my spots. I love myself. I love my life. And nobody told me what to do, and I was free. Free. What an incredible experience. I cannot convey it any better, right? Honest to God. And I'm like, wow. And then what did I do? I asked God for that. I want that experience for me here, now, in my people lifetime, and in all that I am. I want to love my life, right? Live my dreams. Truly be happy. Be in my heart. Do amazing, incredible things. Free from fear. Free from toxic. Free from unwell, right? Yeah. Thank you, God, for that for us all. From love. In the purest form. In this reality, any reality, and all that is. How fucking amazing is that, right? Yeah. So, this is the avenues to go to release yourself from that. You can do classes with us. You can work with me personally. I do give a discounted rate, and this is for everybody. But you can also do this work yourself, right? But you find that it's not changing and things aren't moving in the direction, and they will naturally because the energy of the stars is designed. And we're all changing and growing. It's up to you whether you want to grab the bull by the horns, however you want to do it. But also watch the stuff that you eat because they will tend to make you have more anxiety and fears, right? Like breads and pastas and sugars and toxic stuff, plastics, and we've talked about this. Earth world poisons do not help these things, right? So these are some of the best avenues, as well as lavender, to release these energies. Prayer work, right? Ask and you shall receive. Thanks, love, for me being free of this consciousness. Thanks for me feeling these emotions, releasing them, processing, healing them, and putting the best way to be from love in place of this. And thank you, God, for that for me. Thank you for these gifts for all of us now, please, from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that for us, right? Yeah. So you got this, Teresa. And in the future, as we do our other shows, the 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive, Friday nights at 7:15, right? Sunday nights, the Live Talk Forum at 7:15. And now this show on Wednesday nights, all guided by Higher Knowing, 7:15, right? Doing the right thing, because this is what it's all about, the right thing. Anything you have problems with, solutions that you need from Higher Knowing, both in Earth world as well as over here metaphysically and in all that it is, whether it be health or anything, right? The best solutions, because as we go down the travels of our lives, right, the toxic in us is bound to come out. I mean, look at the world, right? It's happening. So that, again, is what tonight's show is about, doing the right thing from love. Okay, and then we have a show on Friday, which is the 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive. But Teresa, those are the avenues to go down. If you need any guidance as to placements to look into, definitely PM me and send me your chart, and I'll take a look, and in your natal chart, because there's even more guidance that universe is guiding me to get to the bottom of things that most people don't even know about or talk about in astrology. Because again, it's not just astrology that I do; it's God astrology. Everything that I do, it's talking to God, working with love. Doing this, right? So if I want to know what's in this water, I'm going to ask God. If I want to know, how to handle something, I'm going to ask God. If I want to know what's the best place for me to sleep, or how to get the best night's rest, I'm going to ask God. What's the best food for me to eat tonight, right? And they said to me an apple before I even finished the question, because they're talking to me all the time. The clearer the channel you are, the more you work with love, the greater the life you're going to have, the more these gifts you're going to have. Ask and you shall receive. That's what doing the right thing from love is all about. Asking, working with that love, okay? Because it will always guide you to the right thing. The right thing for me may be different for you, but it will be always in alignment with love when you bring it here, okay? Anybody else have any more questions for tonight?
I don't think so.
Okay, what time is it?
8:45.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Usually the show will go about 7:15. It'll at least go for an hour. Sometimes it goes over like it did tonight. And I'm going to hold the bush story for next week, because that's a fucking riot, that story. The woman with the bushes who cut him down, and everybody on the internet got wild. So stay tuned, because that's coming for next Wednesday. Thank you all for coming. I had a great time. Many blessings. If you can donate to us, please do. Universe will honor you 10 to 100-fold. However, whether you share what we do with people, whether you donate in money, whatever it is you feel in your heart. And just like I say, ask God what you should give. Ask love how you do it. Ask and you shall receive, and you'll always be in alignment with love. Ask love to handle it, right? All right. So stay in your heart, people, and you'll always be doing the right thing. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye-bye.